What is up, guys? Welcome, Crypto FUD. And let's jump right into this, guys. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Happy Thursday. The week's almost over, guys. Let's get into this. What's going on, Ricky? TJ's in the house. What is going on, guys? All right, so let's just jump right into this, guys. So Bitcoin right now struggling to stay above that 67,000 right now. You guys can see on the chart, obviously, we really, not even the 67,000, but Bitcoin has struggled to break above and stay above that 68K, kind of what we've been talking about the last couple of days. And you guys can see, as of now, nothing to be too worried about, but Bitcoin is starting to retrace slightly. We did break below the 67K right now, right under it. Nothing to be too alarmed, but you guys can see those are going to be two probably pivotal spots that we're going to need to hold, or at least try to retest. Like I said, the 68K, we talked about this the other day. We saw that 5% of wallets at the time. Things could have changed just in the last few days, but at least 5% of wallets that are holding Bitcoin are around their average price, 68,100. That's given us a lot of resistance trying to break and stay above that 68K. On top of that, you guys can see the 67,000. We were holding it as of earlier today, but we did break below for right now. Like I said, nothing to be too alarmed. Our next spot for some, actual support would be somewhere around the 66,400. So as long as we stay above that area, we're still holding on. We're still holding these gains, and we're still on track to be retesting the 69K area probably in the next few days or the next week or two. Hopefully the next few days. So what's going on, Rodney's? Bendez, what's going on? Ricky said we'll get up there eventually. Exactly, bro. Exactly, guys. We've had, a great run up in the last few weeks, last week or two. Not only for Bitcoin but for a lot of altcoins. So I mean, retracements are natural, right? Retracements are natural, and that just leads me to believe, or leads me over towards, again, looking at the weekly for these alts. You guys can see, I mean, we're still holding massive gains, right? You guys can see it right here. Mu's up almost 50%, Mog almost 40%, Dogecoin up over 20%. What the hell is going on with that? What is this, white Bitcoin? What is it? White Bitcoin. I've not seen that before, but that's up 46%. Athena holding 40%. So you guys can see this is for the weekly, obviously, but for the daily, that's when you're going to see a little bit of red. A lot of projects that were, in the green yesterday, in the green the last few days, and the last week still holding gains. For the daily right now, obviously in the red. But, we do look at the daily, but at the same time, I wouldn't be too focused on that. Looking at the weekly, looking at the monthly, looking at the yearly really tells you exactly what we've been going through and where we're at as far as the market. So nothing to be too alarmed about, but we are going to cover a couple projects. I wanted to talk about today, DeFi. DeFi, have you guys seen CRONOS today? CRONOS DeFi is absolutely ripping. Flip, what's going on, brother? What is going on, man? Bullish is in the house. What's going on, bro? Bullish was asking me some questions last night in the DMs about leverage trading. Did you? Yeah, it looked like you got into to the swap, so you're good to go. So looking at DeFi on our watch list, right? On our watch list, obviously there's a million other DeFi projects, but just on our watch list, look at this. We have a couple projects now. A couple of these projects, I wouldn't even really worry about these gains because, particularly this project, Crow with Crown, right? You can see the market cap's at $2,000 freaking dollars. The only reason why I have this saved is because when Call was running up like crazy, this project came out and actually had a decent market cap and some decent liquidity. A couple of us were buying in because with this project, what they were doing, they're not doing it anymore, but if you held the project, they were basically rewarding you back every day. You get APY of based on the amount and the volume of the project, you would get back Call, right? So we were already, heavily invested in Call. I was like, screw it, I'll throw $100 in this project, and they were giving us, little increments every single day straight to our DeFi wallet for holding. So it is up 134%, but like I said, you guys can see the liquidity. I'm actually gonna just take this off my watch list. The liquidity is at $16, people. I mean, we're going to take that off. So a couple other projects. Obviously, Call right now. I know Ricky was talking about this in the Discord. We had a massive run. Remember last night or yesterday, I told you guys, I sold around this area. I said, listen, I'm going to sell and wait for a retracement. If there is one, you know, obviously I'll just wait, not really tripping. Picked up like a 50% gain. And I said, I also told you guys, I said, listen, I just sold. This thing's probably going to shoot up now. And look at this. Right after the stream, it shot up like another 100% from where I sold. Let me just look at this. Oh, okay, another 30%. So nothing too crazy. But for yesterday, I mean, my God, look at Call for yesterday. Up 120% literally in like a day. So that's absolutely crazy. We already know. I mean, these things happen, especially for these projects for DeFi. When you're talking about a project like Call, has an enormous community in the CRONOS, right? I particularly have been saying this for a while, that Call is the #1 meme coin on their DeFi ecosystem, right? It's Call. So you have a big ecosystem. You have a nice sized market cap, but not too big to where you can see days like this where easily, you know, you see $1 million, $2 million come funneling in on the project and it runs up 100%. And that's exactly what we've seen. Obviously more than $1 million, but that's all it starts is you see a couple big buys and it's just like starts taking off like crazy. So right now you guys can see we are below a couple support levels right now at the 48. So we will say that we've already had this down a little bit above where we're at right now is pretty much a support level. So it looks like it broke below and it's starting to come back up to retest this level. So we'll see how this plays out. But for Call, definitely not worried. You know, picked up those gains. Like for myself, you know, I told you guys I had a bunch of Crow sitting in my wallet. So I ended up buying somewhere like back here because it was before this big dip. And I was like, of course, right? So I ended up throwing it in, you know, and letting it be. But I picked up that 50% gain. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to secure the bag with intentions of buying right back in on Call. So definitely a nice run. I don't know exactly what initiated this run. But looking at like the CRONOS DeFi, you guys can see, I mean, look at this project right here, Generation X, that popped up. Looks like it's been out for about, you know, a little over 2 weeks, so be very cautious. But you guys can see this project, you know, is up 200% for the day. Like, insane. Absolutely insane, right? And we'll go back over to CRONOS. You have CRONOS Rebel Alliance. This project right here, how long has this been out for? A day? Be very cautious with this project. It's only been out for a day. But you can see still holding some solid gains, a little bit over 100 or a little less than 100%. And then we have Crab with Knife, which, you know, I feel bad. I told you guys yesterday to be very cautious. And sure enough, this morning when I went and looked at the project, it was up like 300%. So, you know, still going to say be cautious with this because you guys can see, I mean, the liquidity is only at $3,000 for this project, right? So it's not, you know, these projects where you go crazy and start throwing in a bunch of money, because there's not a lot of money in the project right now, right? So, and this project's going to only run as long as Call is running, right? Because the person that that dropped this project, you know, a few months back, they purposely put the pair, usually when they're on CRONOS, the pair is going to be, you know, whatever the token is paired with Crow, right? Well, this one is paired with, this particular project's paired with Crow, but majority of the people that buy in on this project is it's paired with Call, right? And that might be why this liquidity is actually so small. Let me see this one. Yeah, it's with Crow. Crab with Knife with Call. Okay, right here. Let's see what this liquidity is. All right. Yeah, so this liquidity is at $15,000, so a little bit more, right? I mean, for CRONOS, you know, not too bad, right? We know that this project's been out for a while now, 5 months, almost 6 months now. So I wouldn't be worried like if I threw in like $100, $200 that like it's going to be a rug pull or anything like that. But at the same time, you've seen this massive run up in the last like day, you know, so you have a lot of people sitting on profits. This thing could easily run right back down. I don't think it's going to necessarily do that, but it could easily come down just as fast, if not faster, than it came up. And like I said, this is pretty much running off of Call's hype. So as long as Call's running, this project's going to do all right. But if call starts retracing and retracing fast, you're going to see this project come down just as well. So what I would say, not financial advice, but down the road, maybe when we start seeing call running up again, if this project is down, and it looks like a good entry point, you could even kind of not leverage, but kind of jump in, on this project as well, kind of running off the hype of call, because with the market cap being so low, you're going to see more gains on this project versus a market cap being at $40 million, in my opinion. So, but I would be very cautious. Rodney said NFK to the moon. I think we all agree with you on that one, brother. Carlos said, what's good, NFK to the moon? Slap them likes and call. What's going on, Michael? Ricky said he's going to throw some cash at it. Bro, I would just, not financial advice, bro, but just, I can't keep stressing it enough. Just be very cautious, you know what I'm saying? Because this project up until yesterday was dormant. Like there was no volume, nothing was going on, you know what I'm saying? This just shot up, and it was like $7,000 in liquidity, right? So I mean, not even that like a massive money have come in, but there's really, even with the $15,000 liquidity, I'm not saying that it's terrible or anything like that. I'm just saying it could easily come down, as far as like everybody that just bought in, so that's all I would say is just be cautious. Be cautious, all right, bro? But yeah, the point of what I'm getting to is today, looking at just CRONOS particularly, this is what CRONOS will do, right? It goes into this like dormant where everything is just dead, nothing's going on. The projects aren't like done, but there's like very low volume, not a lot of things going on. No one's creating new projects, nothing. And then out of nowhere, it just comes alive out of nowhere, right? That's why I always tell you guys, whenever, especially when we're down and we're going through those periods of just like nothing going on, pick some good projects, throw money at it that you don't need anytime soon, and watch. It'll eventually, at some point, this thing will probably 2 or 3x, and that's what we're seeing on some of these projects. So a project that I actually threw some bread at this morning is this Moon right here. I bought in earlier. When we did this V-shape, I jumped in somewhere down here. I am up. Nothing too crazy, but I jumped in on this project. Now, this project's been out for, a little bit over 5 months. I am not affiliated with this project. You guys know our project is NFK on Solana, right? But I did throw some money on this because I told you guys I have a bunch of Crow. What am I? Crow. Crow. I'm like, always get Crow and Call mixed up. But I have a bunch of Crow, so I threw a little bit at this project right here. Nothing too crazy, but what I did like about this project is it's been around for a while, right? It's got a $2 million market cap, so I mean it's a steady project on CRONOS, and this is an AI project, believe it or not. So it's powered by AI and blockchain technology. Like I said, I'm not affiliated with this project whatsoever. I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw some money at this project and see if maybe it'll do something. So we'll see how it goes. But just wanted to be transparent with you guys. I did jump in on this Moon right here just because, like I said, liquidity looks solid. Market cap's pretty, solid, but also very small. Won't take much for this thing to start running up. So definitely jumped in on that. Flip said, what is that? GOM looks cool. What the hell is GOM? All right, guys, keep your eye on Flip. Keep your eye on Flip. Ricky said last time, I'm just going to warn you, the last time I sold my Crow, it did a 10x, so be careful. Bro, listen, if Crow does a 10x, it's just like Solana, right? When Solana does a freaking 10x, NFK is going to be worth 10 times just because all our money is in Solana, right? So with these projects, even if Crow goes up 10x, all the money in these projects are all affiliated with CRONOS. It's going to reflect on CRONOS ecosystem. So I'm sure it'll be running up just as fast, right? But I understand what you're saying. Flip, is this what you're talking about? GOM on Solana? An addictive zombie shooting survival game where you play as memes with guns. That's funny. That's funny right there. Keep your eye on this, guys. Been out for 5 months. Market cap's low, but, you know, that's $1 million is like, you know, that perfect zone where, you know, if it gets some traction, it can definitely run. Liquidity looks great, 100% locked in. So it doesn't look bad at all. Let me pull up the zoomed in chart on here. Yeah, the chart doesn't look bad. It looks like it's starting to gain some traction. Hold on. A little zoomed in too much. The only thing I would say is maybe this looks like there was some kind of an M pattern that's formed. Possibly, right? I don't know. Looks a little sloppy. I'm like trying to get a decent little chart going here, but that looks terrible. Remove that. Bro, that looks absolutely hideous. We're going to just stay away from the trend line for now. What about a fib retracement? Fib's not going to look good on here just because there's massive swings. All right. What about some support levels? Sheesh. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself. All right, Flip. So we pretty much made our own support and resistance levels. So you guys can see, obviously, we have support around this 0.1, the 17.5 area, somewhere around here. It looks like kind of like an M pattern that's formed where we had this big run up, came down, retested the support, nice run up, possibly coming back down for some support. So all I would say for this project particularly is that if we come back and retest this area, the 17.5, we might end up breaking towards the downside briefly just because we keep retesting this area. I would say anything below this 17.5 area, anything below is most likely would be a nice little buy zone. Obviously finding some support down here at the 12.4 area, you can see we bounced off of that before we started taking off. So like I said, numbers don't look bad at all, particularly, right? And you can see this thing has been briefly at some points, you know, at a high spot. So Gene, what's going on? What's your price prediction for Bitcoin at the end of 2024? I will answer that here in a second. Bullish said, will it be wise to maybe take some of my MILADY bag and transfer it into NFK? I literally only have MILADY. I mean, Bullish, that's something you need to decide, right? That's something you need to decide, right? I mean, I always preach diversify. You know, you want to diversify, kind of not, you know, have like what who was that yesterday? Old that showed us he had like 57 different freaking meme coins he was holding. Like, that's just taking it to a whole nother level. But I don't think, not financial advice, it wouldn't be bad to like maybe hold on to maybe like, you know, 2, maybe even 3 different projects, kind of split it up, you know. So maybe if one's not doing good at the time and you have other projects, you have potentially other projects that could be doing well that you bought in on to kind of even out your portfolio, right? Because when you're strictly in one project, you're just basically, you know, you're at the whim of that project. Versus if you diversify into maybe like 1 or 2 other projects, you kind of, you know, you can kind of level it out in regards to, you know, if you're up or down, in my opinion. So Sam said, hi, I'd love to hear from your thoughts on waffles on Solana. We'll pull that up right now, brother. Let me answer. So Gene was asking, Crip, what is your prediction? Because I have a crystal ball over here. Apparently, just kidding. What's my prediction on Bitcoin at the end of 2024? Well, Gene, I know you're always here. You should know that I'm pretty bullish for these next 2.5 months, right? I do believe that we're going to end the year off really well. As far as price-wise, that right there it's hard to answer, dude, because Bitcoin is all over the place, right? 2 weeks ago, we're down to 49K. Yesterday, we're at 68,000. You know, the swings have been, I mean, obviously you can see from the chart, the swings have been just like unpredictable at some point, right? Where do I think we're going to be at the end of 24? I do believe that we're going to be doing really well, and I do believe that we'll probably be over 70K, if that can answer your question a little bit better. Are we going to be above all-time highs? If I had to answer it percent-wise, I'd say probably a 60% chance that we're going to be above all-time highs at the end of this year. And if that actually is true, I think we're going to be well above all-time highs, in my opinion. So I am more leaning towards us having a solid end of this year, right? And most likely continuing for the first quarter of 2025 as well. But as far as like pinpoint price action, I would have to, just to throw it out, I'd say at the end of the year, just to throw a number, 76,000 by the end of this year. Maybe running up towards 100K, possibly by the end of this year, if not towards the beginning of 2025. And this is obviously as long as nothing crazy comes our way, right? I was saying this yesterday. We have a lot of things flaring up, across the world, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with crypto. But, if something bad happens in regards to like more wars, more fronts of wars open up in maybe other countries that haven't started anything right now, that are potentially, stirring up right now, that all could lead to downward trends or downward movement in all of risk on assets, right? So those are things that we just can't predict. So it's hard to, put an exact price on where I see the end of 2024 for Bitcoin. But to answer your question, I think that we're probably going to be higher than where we're at right now, sitting at 67,253. So I hope that answers your question, brother. Sam asked, thoughts on waffles. Let's pull that up, brother. I know I spelled that wrong. I just feel it when I was typing. I was like, that's not the way you type it. Isn't that, that's the one guy. I believe this is the one guy, right? And you guys can correct me. This guy right here, if I'm not mistaken, was screaming buy Bitcoin at $1. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not even BSing you guys, this guy he's in the history books. I believe he made the first YouTube Bitcoin video, if I'm not mistaken. This guy right here, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because I keep saying I'm mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's him. This guy right here, and I'm sure he probably has nothing to do with this project, but the guy that's right here, you guys should look him up on YouTube. He's pretty, to hear his story. And you can actually go back. Yeah, exactly. It was him. You could go back and look. This guy, and literally in like 2012, was telling people to buy. He was saying, just buy one Bitcoin for $1. Isn't that crazy? He was telling everybody, literally on camera, buy one Bitcoin for $1. He's like, if just $1. He's like, you can't spare $1. Buy one Bitcoin for $1. And it's nuts, right? If you would have listened to him, I mean, obviously, who the hell is going to buy just one Bitcoin? Well, I mean, even not knowing, just take us back, to those days, like 2012 or 13, right? You're not going to spend $1. You probably would have spent at least, I'm just saying, at least $5 or $10. I know probably myself, I'd be like, you know what? I don't know what the hell this is. I'm going to buy, if it was like something like where I'm like unsure, I'd be, all right, I'll throw $20 at it. I'll just throw 20 and bought 20 Bitcoin, right? Isn't that crazy for $20? Now the problem, Sam says, yeah, he is supporting the project. Nice. He's he's also always with Carl from the Moon, right? He's always with Carl from the Moon. I respect all these guys. They all live in freaking Dubai, You know, they're Bitcoin millionaires because they got into Bitcoin so early, right? But what was I going to say? Damn, I lost my train of thought about him with his videos and stuff like that. But yeah, just imagine buying. Oh yeah, at the time when he was telling people to buy Bitcoin, this was the down thing, was that at the time, I think Mt. Gox was probably the only exchange that you could buy it on. And most people didn't even know how to even get you know, any kind of Bitcoin or buy Bitcoin at the time, because there was like no way to buy it, right? So I think that was a big reason why, even if you stumbled across this video, you probably wouldn't have been successful, because you would have to probably jump through hoops and bounds to even accumulate or even make that $1 purchase at the time. So, but crazy to look back in the past and see somebody like this that was telling everybody to buy Bitcoin at $1. Isn't that crazy? Gosh, do you guys ever think about that and you're like, I know at the time I could have bought thousands of Bitcoin, right? And I'm like, bro, like, you know, you just look back and you're like, oh my gosh, like you could have done that, as all of us could have, right? I'm sure every single one of us had a freaking dollar at the time, right? So absolutely crazy. I always like to, whenever I see him, I always tell everybody that same story. If you didn't know, right? Because when I found out about that with him, I was like just blown away. I was like, that's crazy. That's awesome. I'm sure he changed some people's lives, you know, whoever took that advice. So Troy's saying buy NFK, it's cheap. Troy's trying to do what this guy did now. He's telling you buy NFK right now. And then we're going to look back 10 years from now and we're going to be like, man, Troy was telling everybody to buy NFK. Rodney said, Crip, that's a solid prediction on Bitcoin 80K. I had a dream about that. There we go. If Rodney dreamt it. I'm going back because I missed some chats here. Sam, we're going to look at this project real quick. Ricky said, if we break all-time highs, chance we're going much higher. Otherwise, we'll probably be hanging around below all-time highs for a while. Let's see here. I think we're caught up here. And Ricky said I had to erase that part of my memory. Here you go, triggering me again. I know, bro. You know I'm going to be here to do that. So for this project particularly, bro, just pointing out some numbers. Obviously, market cap, $13 million plus looks amazing. The liquidity locked in, almost $700,000, looks fantastic, right? I mean, the numbers look good. The project's been out for a little over 6 months, so you know you're good, right? 6 months in DeFi is like freaking, you know, 2 years in traditional market pretty much. So as far as the price and looking at the chart, so you can see obviously we had a double top pretty much form initially when this thing first came out, this enormous M pattern, but it didn't drop like you would expect it, right? This big ass M pattern, I would have expected it to drop back down to where it came from. We didn't see that, and you can see that the 786 has been holding as some support, right? And you've been kind of trickling sideways, consolidating what most people would call it, in between the 786 and the 618. So you can see, as of now, you guys cannot break above the 618. Right now, you're not even really testing it. You've tested it a few times. You broke above but couldn't find support. Broke above, couldn't find some support. And as of now, you're basically just consolidating in between the 786 and the 618. So what I would say for this project, numbers look good, right? This guy, if he's affiliated, if he's just even mentions this project as far as being affiliated, I would say hell yeah, right? Because obviously we respect this guy. This guy literally, like I just told you guys, was telling everybody to buy Bitcoin when it was freaking $1. So you have to put some respect on this guy's name no matter what, right? So with that being said, you know, I would say as far as looking for spots for accumulation, I mean, you're in a spot for accumulation right now, but if you're looking for that prime spot for some dollar cost averaging in between these fibs, you can see support level right here at around the 1136 mark. 1 cent, basically 1.1 cent, but the 1136 is where you're going to find that support. So anything around there or below, if you're long-term on this project, will probably be a good buy. Not financial advice, but in my opinion, as far as dollar cost averaging in on this project. And then obviously, whenever you start taking off, you're going to want to see us break above the 618 and find that support above the 618, which is numbered at around the 1.5 cent or the 1527 area. So, but definitely appreciate you bringing up the project. I always like talking about this guy. Much respect. So, Rodney said, I don't know what you said. I've to find a way to join only member stream. I don't know why I can do it with my phone. Buy NFK while it's still cheap. Hell yeah. Rodney, I will say if you want to join the members only stream, from what I'm hearing is you can't use, if you're on your phone, you can't go in through YouTube app. You have to go in through like let's say you're going to Google something, right? Google YouTube and go in through your browser and click into it or get on a computer or PC. And you should be able to find that join button. The join button's literally right by the subscribe button on the bottom of the video. So, Sam, you know I got you, brother. Appreciate it. Bullish said, yeah, I can't join either. You guys are going to have to use a PC. Ricky, the Bitcoin W pattern still looking good on the daily. We could jump up anytime. Yeah. I mean, I wonder, Ricky, I wonder if the W pattern played out though already. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could see that maybe we can continue up, but you can see that Ricky's talking about this W right here, right? We saw the double bottom, right? And remember, calling this area out. How many times did we talk about this? The 60,150 area, right? Double bottom on that 60,150. And I told you guys, if we hold, we're going to take off. And that's exactly what we did. But did this W pattern already play out is the question, right? Because 68,000 has been there to haunt us. And you can see on the daily, clear as night, or I'm sorry, is it clear as day? Clear as day that we've tested it 1, 2, 3 times the 68,000, but we have not been able to break it. So looking at the daily chart actually looks bullish, because what I would say is as long as we stay right around that 68,000 and we keep retesting it, we're eventually going to break above, right? It's going to look bad if we start coming back down into this channel, because that means we've been rejected and Bitcoin's accepted that we've been rejected at the 68, and now it needs to kind of find a spot for some support and try to fuel back up. Right now you can see Bitcoin is basically not letting off its guns, and it's like, all right, you haven't let me through, all right, we're going to keep staying right here, and we're going to keep retesting this area, this 68K, until you freaking let us through, right? So yeah, bullish. Just try the on PC, bro, or a tablet, anything other than your phone. Or like I said, go through your browser. Don't use your YouTube app. Go through your browser, and it should pull up like a desktop kind of view, and you might be able to find that join button. Ricky said, draw a trend line from the lower high. Hold on, draw a trend line from the lower high to through the W. What you talking about, Willis? From the lower high, are you talking about right here? Draw a trend line from the lower high through the W. Or is this what you're talking about right here? Oh, man. Good thing I know where that is. What was that? The 61. All right. Was this it? Shit. I hate when I move my support levels. I freaking hate it. Yeah, all right, this was it. Draw a trend line from the lower high through the W. I don't know what you're telling me, bro. Like, what do you mean a trend line through the W? Now I'm just messing my damn chart up. We'll get back to it, Ricky, because I don't know. I know you're probably trying to explain it. The 61,000, yeah, 60,144. Yeah, I put it at 60,146, so we're right there. We're right there, guys. So let's just jump in real quick to a couple articles real quick. Remember, guys, disclaimer, we're not getting political. I don't care who you vote for whatsoever. I don't care who you vote for. That's pretty much it, right? So Bitcoin's next big move hinges on the U.S. election results. So according to the recent report from QCP Capital, the upcoming U.S. presidential election could heavily influence Bitcoin's price trajectory. Now, real quick, I do want to put a pause. Remember, we covered this. We looked at the the last like 4-year cycles, which coincidentally fall on election years, right? We looked at 2016, 2012, 2020, and now 2024, right? And what we found out, right, if you guys remember this, is that it doesn't matter who the hell wins the election, Bitcoin is going to move, right? Bitcoin's going to move, so it does not matter whatsoever, right? So with that being said, short term, I think the Bitcoin community is pushing towards one direction for a candidate, right? And I think if that person doesn't win, then short term we might see somewhat of a some turmoil, right, in the market. But I think after the dust clears a few weeks down the road, I think it's going to not really matter much, as long as and obviously you guys know what I'm saying. Bitcoin, the crypto community is kind of backing Trump for the most part, right? So if Trump wins, they're anticipating that the markets are going to move up, right? Or they're going to continue to move up. Was going to say, and with this scenario, right? Remember, I'm not being political. I'm not, I don't care. I'm just saying this scenario. And what they're saying is that if Harris wins, right, that the markets might not do as well initially, right? Now, the only thing I could say is that might be true short term. The only thing I would say that if something long term was to happen negatively would be like if one of the candidates got in office and they started to potentially do things that could, not be good for Bitcoin or the crypto market, right? Kind of like what we've seen for the last 3 years with Gary Gensler and the SEC, right? If that continues on, not going to be good. And that's why the crypto space is kind of backing a certain candidate, because if you remember, Trump said day one he's going to look to try to get rid of Gary Gensler, right? So with that, he knows that we all emotionally just don't like the guy, right? So for him to appease crypto, that was a good line. I'm not going to lie to you. That was a good line. If Kamala said that, I would be saying the exact same thing. I would say, damn, that was a good line, right? But she's not going to say that, particularly because she's in office right now and he's under her, he's under their administration. So she can't sit there and say that, even if she has plans to do that maybe in the future. We don't know, right? I do say, to come to her defense, she has been saying that she's going to be more pro crypto. So we'll see how it goes. But no matter what, I think it does not matter who wins the election for the long term. Bitcoin crypto is going to prevail, as it always does. So continuing on, while the election is the next key catalyst for Bitcoin and a broader crypto markets, uncertainty lingers over the post-election outlook. Options contracts expiring around the election are trading at a 10% premium compared to other expiries, signaling a heightened market sensitivity to political developments. QCP's analysts suggest that any shift in the polls or changes in the narratives of either candidate's campaign could amplify spot prices. Currently, Bitcoin is holding strong around 67K, briefly touching 68,000 following an over 2% rise. Trump's political or potential victory has been positively correlated with the stronger crypto performance compared to Kamala Harris, who has expressed less supportive views on the sector. Real quick, I actually want to pull up, we haven't looked up Polymarket in a while. Let's look up Polymarket real quick, just because we're down this rat hole. Oh my gosh, you guys see this? Look at this. Look at the split here. Now, this has nothing to do, this is just betting on Polymarket, but look at this. 61.5% are calling for Trump to win. 38.6% are calling for Kamala to win. If you guys remember last time we checked this, right? Last time we checked Polymarket, this was probably, I mean, I was told from viewers, to get less political. Not that I was being political, but we were covering a lot of political articles. Unfortunately, that had to do with crypto. So I was like, you know what? We'll try to steer away. And I've been purposely not bringing it, but we're so close to freaking the elections. It's like, it's inevitable. But last time we looked at this stuff like a month ago, it was like 50-50. I think even Kamala was up. Like, it was like 51-49 at a time. Right? And now look at much this has shifted. 61.5% versus 38%. That's crazy. Not that this is going to dictate exactly what we see, but I mean, that's just craziness right there, how much of a shift we've seen in the poly market. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, going back real quick, I'm telling you guys, it does not matter at the end of the day who's winning long term. We're going to be fine. Ricky said, man, damn it. He said, anyway, the damn W didn't play out yet. Oh, man. And he said, I care who wins, but I hate politics. I'm same here, bro. I'm like, I try not to be political, man, because it's like, what do I always tell you guys? What did mom always told us, right? When you're sitting at the dinner table with family, friends, there's 3 things you don't talk about, right? Religion, money, which we talk about money because this is a freaking, crypto channel. So we're going to talk about money. That one's, we can't get away from that one. And politics, right? Those are the 3 things that people usually hold so passion, right? So it's like, and I'm being honest, you just don't talk about it. When I'm around people that I'm not close with, right? And they try to tell me their political views. I'm like, yeah. And I don't disagree with them. I don't agree. I'm just like, yeah, and I just keep it moving because I feel like it's like they're throwing out a hook, right? And they're trying to see like if you're going to take the bait, if they're going to start flipping out or, oh, you support that candidate, and then they're like, you're in the middle of a heated debate. And it's like, bro, I don't care who you freaking vote for. I really don't care. All right, bullish brother. Good luck with that. Ricky said, keep the damn politics out of my money. I agree with that. So Bitcoin's ETF. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's ETF have attracted inflows with $456 million added on October the 16th alone. That's massive. This marks the 4th consecutive day of net gains, potentially signaling continued bullish momentum according to the QCP. If the inflows persist, some analysts are eyeing Bitcoin's all-time high of 73,790 as a potential target. Per QCP, long-term confidence also seems to be building, demonstrating by the recent purchase of 600 March. What is this? By the recent purchase of 600 March 2028 options at a $120,000 strike price. All right. However, the election remains a wild card, leaving Bitcoin's future direction uncertain. What is let's look at the fear and greed index for today. Oh, look at this. We're in greed right now, guys. Look at this. They changed their freaking oh, I like this. All right, I like this. They changed the little like the user face for coin market cap. I like this though. So you guys can see we're in greed now, right? So remember, we are coming out of fear. We were in neutral for a while, and now we're in greed, which is usually good, right? As far as hope you have your bags packed right now. Not financial advice, but like we always say, not the best time to be buying in when we start getting deep into the greed or extreme greed, right? You should have already been accumulating when we were back in fear and possibly in neutral. Now that we're starting to get into greed, what does this mean? It means the market is obviously bullish. It means that majority of the market right now is basically anticipating that we're going to be moving up, which is a good thing, right? And you're like, well, why wouldn't you want to buy in? Because historically speaking, buying in at fear versus buying in at greed, you're always going to do good in fear. In greed, you could be possibly buying in towards the top, closer to a top, right? So your gains are going to be less. Now, I understand, if maybe financially you weren't able to buy in, in the last few months. I understand. Right now, depending on what project you're looking at, might not be the best, might not be the worst time to buy in. But I say, and I emphasize on particularly depends on what project you're talking about, right? Because like we were talking about, we look at the bubbles, right? You look at the weekly, you look at the monthly. If I'm looking at Nero right now, it's up 400%. I would be, I'm not saying this project can't run up, even more massively. I'm just saying I'd be a little cautious buying in right now. It's up 400 freaking percent in the last 3 weeks. MOG up 100+% in the last 3 weeks. Is it a bad time to buy in on MOG? Probably not, right? It's still got a very low market cap, but like I said, this correlates with the fear and greed. Now that we're in greed, you can see this reflects this right here, right? Where a lot of projects have run up like crazy in the last few weeks. So be cautious on some of these projects that you might be jumping in or FOMOing in on because they've been on a massive run. Now, if you're adding to your bag, maybe that's one thing. But if you're just jumping all in on, whatever the case is, PopCat right now, which has been doing absolutely amazing, you're buying in right now, particularly at almost 100% plus right now. So, Troy said no one's being greedy on NFK, yet you still have time to buy. Hurry. We don't pay Troy. I'm telling you, he's so amped up about NFK, and that's what we love about Troy. Troy, I'll wire you over that money. All right, man. Appreciate that, brother. Tim said, in the thick of the smoke, what are your top meme coins in your opinion? That's a good question, bro. That's a good question. So just off the top of my head, top 5 meme coins for myself. You guys know I'm going to say NFK. We're going to take NFK out of this one, right? Because we're biased. We all love NFK. So we're going to take NFK out of this one. Top 5 meme coins right now that are on central exchanges, right? Well, hold on. What do you think? Are you asking me what do I think the top 5 best gainers are going to be, or what do I think the top 5 per market cap are going to be? Because that's 2 different things, right? If I'm going to say top 5 meme coins when we're in the thick of meme coins, this super cycle, right? I'm going to say Pepe, Dog with Hat. I'm going to throw in hold on. Pepe, Dog with Hat, Bunk. I think Dogecoin is going to still be very relevant. I really do think Dogecoin is going to be still very relevant. And what's the 5th one? I know I'm missing so many. It's so hard. It's only 5. And like I told you guys, there's so many freaking like competition right now with meme coins. If I had to throw one out there, I'm going to throw in, and this is top like per market cap. I'm going to throw in my 5th one. It's so hard, guys. Shit. I don't know. I'm like, the suspense is building up now. Turbo. I'm going to throw Turbo in there, right? I'm going to throw Turbo. Now, these are per market caps, right? What do I think is going to have massive gains? I think every single one that I just named, right? But we got to throw in some other ones, right? Like MOG, MILADY, Myro, right? This Nero, I think, is going to do really great. PopCat, that we keep talking about, is going to do really well. Don't sleep on Brett, right? Brett that's on, forgot what freaking ecosystem it's on. What is Brett on nowadays? Brett's on base. I was like, I had to think about that for a second. There's probably, there's so many more, right? So don't think that like you have like, I would say like 50 of these meme coins to pick from, even though we know there's like 1,000 of them, right? There you have 50 of these top meme coins. Don't think that you picked the wrong one, because they're all going to do really well, but some are going to do better than others, right? And what do I always tell you guys? What is the number one driver for meme coins particularly, right? Because there's no fundamentals really behind them. What's going to drive a meme coin like Dogecoin and Shiba in 2021? It's going to be all hype, right? So it's going to be what meme coin can build up the most hype and get on that hype train and run it up to the top. That's going to be what you're going to try to figure out, or what you're betting on right now, as far as if you've already, bought in on some of these meme coins. Which one do you think is going to have the most hype? And it's really not even which one's going to have the most hype. What are the few that are going to get a lot of hype? Excuse me. Because, like I said, maybe you don't pick that number 1 meme coin, but what if you pick the number 3 meme coin and you still see a freaking 30 or 40x from where you're at right now? I look at that as a win, right? So, Flip said Turbo's his bet. All right, y'all keep an eye on him. Y'all keep an eye on him. Flip saying whiff, Turbo, and bet. Yeah, what do you guys think? You tell me. I gave you my 5, which, you know, if I know later on tonight I'm going to be like, oh, crap, I forgot this one. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys give me what are your top 5 meme coins in the top of this meme coin super cycle that we're pretty much in and that we're going to continue to be in most likely in these next few months. What do you guys think? You tell me. And in the meantime, I'm going to pull up. I had one more article, I think. Here we go. Guys, you guys remember, Wayne said Manicki to the moon and Punky and Mog. Okay. Manicki's been killing it. I don't know, like in the last few weeks, I think it's been kind of, like today it's down 5%. Nothing too crazy, but I mean, you look at Manicki. I was expecting Manicki to be a lot higher, to be honest. I really was. But I think Manicki's still relevant for sure. I was just expecting like Manicki to have this like chart where it was like running up like, some craziness. Sorry, I didn't build up the way I wanted. I have all these freaking tabs open. Oh yeah. So listen, guys, I wanted to cover this real quick. We're not going to get too far into it, but you guys remember when the ETFs were about to drop for Bitcoin and the freaking SEC dropped a tweet and said that the ETFs were approved, right? Like a day before they actually got approved, and then they had to come out and be like, oh, we got hacked. It wasn't approved. And do you remember that Bitcoin went from like, I don't remember the prices. It went from like $70K and it dropped down to like freaking $50-something thousand in like 2 hours. Remember that happening? And they were like, we got hacked. Well, it looks like the FBI arrests the alleged SEC hacker linked to the fake tweet saying that Bitcoin's ETFs were approved. This guy single-handedly cost so many people so much money on leverage trading. Do you know how many people? I think they did it was like $500 million in like a few hours that got freaking liquidated, right? Because they had longs open. The tweet came out, they opened up longs that Bitcoin the ETF was approved, and then like the SEC came out like a few hours or like I think it was like a few hours later and basically said that it was all a fake post and they got hacked. Bitcoin freaking dropped to the abyss briefly. You guys remember that? Bro, this guy single-handedly cost so many people so much money. And I don't think I was leverage trading that day, but I was pissed. About this because I was like, how the hell are you a freaking, this big ass freaking federal agency and you're using Twitter and you get hacked, right? And then you cost the one thing that you're supposed to protect investors from, right? You let happen through your Twitter feed. Absolutely insane. So just to read in there, so the Federal Bureau of Investigations on Thursday said it arrested a 25-year-old man for his role in alleged hack on the Securities and Exchange Commission's X account to falsely post to the agency had approved Bitcoin exchange traded funds. Damn, they called out this guy's name. So if you're looking for him, Eric Consul Jr. of Athens, Alabama, conspired with others to take over the X account, according to a Thursday press release from the U.S. government. After gains access to the account, he passed control off to an unnamed co-conspirators who issued the false tweet. Crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That's crazy. I was wondering, I was like, are they ever going to like give us some clarity on that? Just reading the chats here. Ricky, number one, most likely will be Pepe, Shiba, Doge, and then all the little guys will be fighting for a position. I could agree with that. F-Wog. Who else was in here yesterday talking about F-Wog? I feel weird saying that, F-Wog. FWOG. Okay, FWOG. Now I understand FWOG. FWOG. I mean, it looks good. Freaking $176 million market cap, so it's not no damn little baby project for sure. Definitely looks solid. How long has this project been out for? 2 months, almost 3 months. So, I mean, it looks good. Had a beautiful bounce off the 786 for this nice run. You guys already know what I'm going to say about this. Obviously, it's coming off of highs, and it has been finding that support on the 236 right here. So, you guys already know, as long as it stays above that 236, I'm going to say I'm bullish on this project, and you'll most likely see new highs continuing. But what I will say is when you see this move, right, and you see it made all-time highs, but you can see it's consolidating kind of near these highs, the only thing that I would say that would kind of get me a little bit wary is that it keeps retesting the 236. If it keeps retesting this level and it can't get some more upward momentum and break all-time highs, it's eventually going to break towards the downside, right? Now, I don't think this thing is going to crash. I'm just saying you could see a brief, drop to the downside, breaking the 236, possibly finding some support somewhere around the 382 at around this 13.4 cent mark. So keep an eye on that. This 236 at around the 16.7 cent mark has to hold, right? That has to hold. If it keeps retesting that area, though, I'm saying it eventually will break, right? And that's the same thing, if it keeps retesting this all-time high, it will eventually break that level. So Wayne's just throwing him out here now. He said he's got 650 in Turbo. All right. Turbo's a good project. Ricky said, remember when someone tweeted that Litecoin was accepted as payment for Walmart? I briefly do remember that, bro. I do briefly remember that. Wayne, Nero on Ethereum. Yep, we covered that. Book of Meme. All right. We haven't brought up that project in a while. Popcat, we talked about it earlier. Faith of Crypto. Coming in with some shill saying ticker trending launching is before Christmas early. MSI monkey shit anew. All right. Gotcha, buddy. Wayne said, have all these coins. Nice. So Wayne's like an old, we have a guy in here, his name's Old something, and my boy owns like 46 meme coins. You're pretty much right there with everything you named. Ricky said, almost forgot Floki is definitely going to be up there too. All right. I don't know. Floki is always like, it's like dormant and then it comes out and then it's dormant again and then it comes out and it's just like, Real quick, I do want to cover, so guys, don't forget, just because we saw that 50 basis points, a few weeks ago, now it's been like 3 weeks, that everything's over with, right? We have another FOMC meeting coming up in literally less than 3 weeks from now, in 20 days. And it looks like the markets have shifted slightly, right? So yesterday, this was 80% calling for some kind of a 0.25% basis point deduction in interest rates. You guys can see now it is shifted over. They lost about 20%, and that 20% came over here. So now we have 34.5% are calling for a pause, right? They think that we're going to see a pause on this next meeting. And remember, when we saw the other day, and it was at 80-something% over here calling for that 0.25% basis point, remember, I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Feds possibly pause on this next FOMC meeting. And, that could throw a lot of investors off guard, right? So we're going to keep an eye on this because we could see some turmoil approaching for this FOMC meeting. I think it's going to be short term, right? But just because the Feds went so aggressive, that first initial deduction in interest rates, I think they kind of have the ball in their court where they're like, you know what, do we have to do a 0.25% or should we pause and then do a 0.25% in December, right? And that's what I think we're most likely going to see. And I would almost bet that we're going to see this thing probably even out as we get closer to where it's going to be 50-50. You guys tell me, what do you think? Do you think that the Feds are going to be reducing interest rates another 0.25% this in 20 days from now in November? Or do you think that they're going to pause and do that 0.25% in December? You guys tell me. Ricky said he thinks he's going to buy that. He's definitely going to buy that monkey shit in you. You think he was trolling? Oh, man. All right. He probably wasn't trolling. Faith said, MSI, can you pull up the chart? We'll pull it up for you, brother. JDM coming with the super chat. Appreciate that, bro. Let me pull up this MSI real quick, and then we'll... Is it on DeFi, bro, or is this a traditional market? JDM said, can you review Roaring Kitty on Ethereum? Community takeover on May this year was taken over mostly by SHIB holders and OGs. Thank you. Yep, I'll pull that up, brother. Faith, real quick, I'll come back to you. I'm going to jump on JDM's because he dropped the super chat, but let me know, that MSI, is that on your traditional market? So JDM, you Roar, I haven't pulled up this project, I think, in a while since it dropped. Roaring Kitty on Ethereum, right? Damn, this thing's running. All right, JDM. Keeping all the good stuff for yourself, huh? I see. Is this it? All right, contract re-announce. I'm like, I don't see the community takeover. That's it. All right. Keeping all the good stuff for yourself is what I see, right? You come and bring it in when this thing's up freaking 1,000%. All right, buddy. Just kidding with you. I'm just kidding with you, bro. So, again, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. I really appreciate that. So, pulling up the chart, obviously, you guys are coming off of freaking all-time highs right now. This is on the daily, right? So, let me see if we can maybe the 4 hour at least. Yeah. So, I mean, this thing literally just made all-time highs, which is awesome. You can see that the 47 is your all-time high. So, I mean, you've had a beautiful run. So, initially, what happened was with this project is obviously it came out, and the devs, obviously, like I told you guys the other day, we see this a lot with these projects where they'll make their quick $20,000 or $30,000 or whatever the hell. Sometimes they make a lot more, and they just run, right? And then sometimes it comes back to bite them in the ass, right? And on this project, I'm sure it is, because those devs are still looking at this project, and they're looking at it and they're like, holy shit, it just broke all-time highs, right? Building that momentum. So that's awesome. That is good. I always like to see the community win on stuff like that, right? So with that being said, you can see that before this run, we kind of look like we found that support around the 618 at around this 18 mark, and then we just freaking took off. We took off. And when did this happen? This was basically on the 4th of October. Yeah, so I was going to say, it looks like it's like happened yesterday because it's such a steep freaking run to the top. I mean, this trend line, look at this thing. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me fix that. But I mean, absolutely ridiculous. So what I would say, and what I always say about all these projects, is as long as this thing can hold the 236 fib, I think you guys are going to continue to see more movement towards the upside, right? So the fib retracement is, you have a lot of room to move, right? So the fib retracement's around this 36 area. You could easily come back down, which is a freaking 20% drop, and still be bullish, right? Because, I mean, I know you don't want to hear this, but this thing it can only run for so long, right? It can only run for so long, and usually when you see projects like this where they're pointing straight to the sky, you're going to eventually see, somewhat of a big retracement. Hopefully, it's only going to be that 20% where you can find that bounce at the 236, somewhere around this 36, kind of build up that momentum to run back up and break these all-time highs. So if it is what you say, the community took over, you have a lot of SHIB, community into this. Those SHIB people, was one of them once back in the day. They're very loyal, right? They're very loyal to their projects. If anything, SHIB, they know how to hodl. So with that being said, I'm sure this project has some solid people behind it. Some people that are pretty, they want to see the project run. And you're going to have a lot of people holding for dear life. So market cap, 4.6 million looks great. Liquidity a little under 300,000, 100% locked in. The project looks great. It looks great, honestly, like I said. So what I would say is just look out. Obviously, you want to see it hold this trend line somewhere around the 42. It could easily come back down and bounce off the trend and continue to move up. But don't be discouraged if it does break down towards the 236, somewhere around this 36 level. It could easily drop down to that level and still bounce and still be very bullish, making new all-time highs. So, damn, we got the whole roaring kitty in here. My boy brought his whole squad in here. You know what? I ain't mad at you, bro. We used to do that same thing with our project. We'd go into YouTubers, and we'd all assemble in the Discord and be like, all right, let's go. At least while you guys are here, hit the like, right? I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate you guys being here. He's got the whole squad in here, bro. And what we'll do, since you guys hit that subscribe, stay subscribed. I'll put it on the watch list, and we'll cover this daily, right? Because I'm curious to see how this project runs. This is obviously trading on Ethereum. We're kind of big on Solana, but you know what? Always got to pay respect for Ethereum, right? I appreciate you, JDM. I really do. Troy said, wait until NFK runs. Ricky said, hey, man, I bought CNU and MTFK coin. So why not? All right. Yeah, Ricky, this was, they said that I guess this was, I don't know if Roaring Kitty, obviously, if you guys live under a rock, this is a guy that's real big on GameStop. Obviously, I don't know if he was exactly affiliated with this project, but that's where the Roaring Kitty comes from. And the GME in the background from the Roaring Kitty right there. I like that. I like that backdrop. JDM said, beautiful chart, and the best of all is that it is a $4.6 million market cap, and we're aiming to take this to billions. Hey, listen, I don't doubt you, bro. I don't doubt you whatsoever. John T said less than 800 holders. Yeah, 762. What's your volume at? So I would say the only thing I would call out, JDM, and I'm not, no FUD or anything like that, right? Because this is crypto FUD, is the volume. The volume is relatively low, right? Look at this. Volume's at 16,000 and only 15 makers on here. That's the only thing that I would say that's relatively, that needs to obviously pick up, and I'm sure it will as the project continues to move. What you did today, you got people on my channel looking. I would do the same thing, right? We run a project as well, and like I said, we would go out and not necessarily spam, but we would go out and, spread the word. We would go out and pay YouTubers, small and big, super chats. Hey, can you look up this project? It was our project, right? Just so we can get eyes on it. And then also we would raid on X, right? Like crazy. So, definitely got to do all that. You got to put in the work, right? Not saying you guys aren't, but you got to put in the work to, bring exposure into the project. Because obviously you're going to want that volume to spike up like crazy. So, good luck with that, brother. JDM said the volume was organic. Okay. Morpheus, I appreciate you, bro. Travel, just look up No FUD Koala. Look up No FUD Koala on Twitter, or I always still call it Twitter, but on X. I appreciate you guys, bro. So are you guys running this project? You guys should drop a Discord. I see you have a Telegram. I mean, Telegram's good. Me personally, I don't like Telegram. I feel like it's just so filled up with like freaking scammers. If you drop a Discord, you guys can kind of assemble and start raiding and stuff. Price target $1 for, and what your total supply 100,000 million billion 1 billion. Not too bad. So not even too much in circulating supply either. Oh yeah. Chart looks good though. Thank you again for the super chat, brother. I put it on the watch list, so we'll definitely keep an eye on it for sure. Faith, MSI, devs, and team bringing it out together nicely. $5 million market cap. Faith, I tried pulling up your MSI, bro. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Monkey shit and you. Oh, man. MSI. So this one's another Ethereum project as well. I guess all the Ethereum people are coming in today. Where's all my Solana people at? I don't like that fib retracement. I don't like it at all, bro. I appreciate you guys for coming in, guys. I really do. So MSI, I mean, to briefly just cover the project, dude. I mean, like you said, it's got a $5 million market cap. Liquidity doesn't look bad, right under 600K. So I mean, doesn't look bad. $56,000 in volume. You know, not terrible, right? Not terrible at all. I know it's obviously trading on DeFi. I'm sure it's probably not on any central exchanges. So 56K, not terrible. I mean, you can see the bottom of the fib is going to be where the bottom of this chart is at around the 6061. You can see that you were finding some support above the 786 and then you broke below. So with that being said, without jumping into the weeds, next spot for some support on this project, if I had to guess, would probably be somewhere where you found some support briefly, somewhere around this 11 area. If it's going to head down, that 786 is going to give you hell though. At around this 5 zeros and 22, that's going to give you hell on this monkey shit in you. All right, bro. But I mean, the project looks solid, dude. It looks looks solid. All jokes aside, it's been out for a little over 3 months. Market cap liquidity looks good, so it checks out. So, like I said, look out for that support level around that 5 zeros. Did I say 6 zeros earlier? 5 zeros and the 11 mark, and then obviously the resistance level is going to be your 786 at the 2296 area. So. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat, bro. I appreciate that. He says MSI has a catalyst coming before end of the month. All right. We got the MSI squad in here as well. Ricky said he likes this. He likes it. It has a good ring to it. Hey, listen, we all saw what those other projects did, right? We all saw what those other projects did as far as cocking you and you know, a couple of them, they all have rings to them, right? And you know what? If you can get a project that's kind of catchy, you know, it can make people remember, or you know what I'm saying, when they're trying to look for projects to jump in on. So I'm definitely not knocking the name whatsoever. Let's see here. Fury said, "What's your X?" Let me pull up the damn Twitter page, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not active much on Twitter. We have a Twitter page for our token. Let's see here. Got to update the terms and policies. I'm gonna look at right here. No FUD Koala. No FUD Koala. NFK. This is our Twitter. I have not been active much on Twitter, but you can spam me on there for sure. Maybe it's the I need to get back on Twitter. Coming through with another super chat, bro. I appreciate that. It says, keep an eye for ticker trending powered by MSI. JDM, I appreciate it. And I'll get the squad. We have a Discord with over 200 people. You guys show us love, and I definitely will give you guys, the same respect right back, and we'll all follow you guys back. So what I'll do for MSI is I'm going to put this on our watch list as well. I appreciate the super chats. I'm going to put this on our watch list, and we'll keep an eye on it. So what they're saying is keep an eye out. They're saying something big is going to be happening by this month. We'll see what's up. Obviously, this project is on Ethereum. A lot of us in here, not like I said, no one's dissing Ethereum. I love Ethereum. This is where where my roots come from, is Ethereum. But a lot of us in here, we trade off of Solana just because it's a little bit cheaper as far as like the fees and stuff like that. So, but definitely always have respect for Ethereum and anything that's built on the Ethereum network for sure. John T, what's your opinion on Jesus Coin? $27 million what is that? 27 million market cap, 2.7 liquidity, with 80% coins burned, 15,000 holders, no large bags, and developers burned entire bag by accident. All confirmed. What is, John, your Jesus that you speak of? Is this on Ethereum? What ecosystem are you talking about? Well, you told me the liquidity. What'd you say? $2.7 million liquidity? Yeah, this is it right here. All right. I mean, obviously the numbers check out. They look good. $28 million market cap, 2.6 million locked liquidity. If you are for real saying that 80% of it's been burned, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could verify that. But I mean, if 80% of the circulating supply has been burned, that's craziness. We got the Ethereum squad in today. Hate this fib retracement. We'll run with it. So you can almost see like a W pattern. It's sloppy, but you can see almost like a W pattern that's formed. I'll put some support right there. Basically, you can see it not the prettiest W pattern, but slightly looks like a nice little W pattern. And then you saw this run up towards the 0.5 where it got rejected at 6 zeros in the 28. And you can see as of now, it got rejected at the 618. So with that being said, it is actually coming up to a big spot for some support, as you can see for this project. So this project definitely, for right now, to hold these gains, wants to hold that, what is that, the 17, almost the 18 area right there, needs to hold. And then this 618 is going to be a big spot that's going to give you hell as far as resistance at the 21.9. So, but I mean, the project doesn't look bad at all, right? Numbers check out. 28 million liquidity looks great. It's been out. This is an OG project too. It's been out for over a year and almost 6 months, right? DeFi projects that are out longer than 6 months, I call them OG projects, right? Because we all know how the DeFi world is, right? And if you've ran a project, you understand it's rough out there. If you can survive that 6 months, especially a project like this, been out for over a year, and it's got this decent amount of numbers as far as market cap and liquidity, not too bad in my opinion. John said, all organic, no paid influencers, and no exchanges. Nice. So imagine if this project could get on an exchange, right? Imagine if it could drop on a big exchange. I don't know if would you think, and I'm not getting wholly on you guys, but do you think like a central exchange would drop a Jesus coin? What do you guys think? Oh, I didn't even realize. I forgot to remind everybody. The our Discord is on the top of the chat. It's pinned on there. If you guys do want to come join our Discord, come join. We don't mind you coming in and talk about other projects. It's pretty much on off, all crypto. Just don't come in there with any scams because you will get kicked out soon, very fast. No problem, John. No problemo. Let's check back up on Bitcoin real quick. So Bitcoin 67,300 right now, not looking too bad. Definitely, I'm glad that it's holding that 67,000. And look at this. Speaking of W patterns, look at that W pattern, Ricky. Put a line through that damn W pattern, buddy. Look at this double bottom that we just formed right here. Let's see if it plays out. This might shoot us up towards 68. Possibly. What do we have lined up for this week? We don't have too much. Building permits, nothing. JDM said, with Binance, Listen, Turbo, and Nero's community takeover, we have a strong chance down the line. Hell yeah. That's an underdeveloped W. Don't be dissing my W, bro. Gene said, what do you think March 2025 will be the top out for crypto market? I mean, Gene's always hit me with these freaking hard questions. He's like, bro, on June 24th, where's Bitcoin going to be? And he just sits there. He's like, huh? Like, what's the exact number? I'm like, bro, I don't know. I don't know what it's exactly going to be at, 6 months down the road. But you guys already have heard, if you're familiar with the channel, I've already said this plenty of times. I do believe that as far as Bitcoin, the whole crypto space, these, historically speaking, especially on 4-year cycles, these last 3 months, October, November, December, always play out really well. And I've been saying that I still do think that the first quarter of 2025 is where we're pretty much either going to be topped out, or we're going to be kind of getting the signals to where I do think at some point between January through March, which is the first quarter of 2025, that we're going to probably top out either before we get there or around that area, and we're going to start descending, getting into the long-term bear market that's probably going to happen towards the later half of 2025 and 2026. So with that being said, to answer his question, where do I think Bitcoin's going to be in 2025 March? I think that, like I said, either we're going to be at, very high numbers, well above all-time highs, or we've already broke all-time highs and already got to where we're going to be via whether that's 100, 125K. Your guess is as good as mine, but the point of what I'm getting to is around March, I would probably guess that we've already topped out at that time, and then we're probably, even if we're not, dropping down to the abyss, we're starting to make lower highs at that point, getting set up for us to start moving towards, a bear market is pretty much what I'm saying. So I keep telling you guys this for the next 6 months, 5.5 now, right? We're probably going to be seeing some fast growth, moving fast. Bitcoin's eventually going to be hitting these all-time highs, hitting its high of wherever we're going to see for this cycle, because I do believe we're going to have one more big run, right? In these from now until March of 2025. Time frame, we don't know exactly when. But Bitcoin's going to eventually hit these highs, right? And then we're going to start to come down. But in the mix of all that, we're going to have altcoin season. We still haven't gotten the full thick of altcoin season. So we still have that ahead of us. And DeFi season, right? You guys are talking about all your DeFi projects. We have our DeFi project. we're going to see massive growth, I think, in the DeFi space, where we're going to see a lot of volume coming in. Volume that we haven't seen this cycle yet, right? If you remember in 2021, we went through Bitcoin's all-time highs, we went through altcoin season, and then DeFi season was around altcoin season, where DeFi season was going absolutely insane. I mean, you name it, every ecosystem was bringing in massive all-time volume, and pretty much every project on those DeFi spaces were up like crazy. Some of them were going absolutely insane, right? We're going to see that again. I think we have one more time for all of that, and within the next 5 months. But as far as an actual price target, as far as where Bitcoin's going to be in March, who knows, bro? Hopefully we're well above our current all-time high, you know, and hopefully I'm wrong as far as the time frame and we can push it a little bit longer. But like I've told you guys, right? Like I've told you guys, looking at the crypto bubbles, this kind of paints it out. This is for the last year. Look at this for the last year, guys. Look at these gains, right? This isn't going to continue for another year. This isn't going to continue for another year. You have to understand that, right? So we have one more big push towards the upside, right? But eventually we are going to start retracing back towards the downside. And it's not going to be an abrupt, we go from $100,000 down to like 20K in a week. It's going to be a slow creep, a slow burn, you know, as far as us getting into that bear market. If you remember the last bear market that we just went through, it didn't happen overnight. It was 18 months of us finally finding a bottom, right? Before 2023 came around and we were able to run up. So hope that helps you out, Gene. Ricky said the further down the line the top happens, the more likely the price goes to higher levels. I agree on that one. JDM said, what time do you usually go live? No worries, brother. So we go live around 5. We've been going a little early. Usually it's around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is usually when we go live, around there. I've been trying to go a little bit earlier because I have my daughter and stuff like that, you know, in school, stuff like that. So, you know, and sometimes we're on here for 2 or 3 hours. And then sometimes we're on here for like an hour. It all depends. El Desp, haven't seen you in a while. Don't know how much to run. Don't know how much you run KRC20 here, but if you don't know, you are missing the opportunity to get in early. Nacho and KASPA are on with that Phoenix and Coinex now, and the others are starting to list. So you're talking about KASPA is what I'm guessing, right? The KRC20. I'm not familiar with their ecosystem per se, but we do know that KASPA is absolutely a fantastic project, right? We have a couple people that do talk about KASPA a lot, so we'll definitely have to check that out. But with that being said, guys, I think we had a decent stream tonight. I do appreciate all the new people that came in. I appreciate you guys bringing in all the new projects. Like I said, this channel, bro, we're not, I mean, obviously we love our NFK. NFK is going to be our holy grail. That's our no FUD koala token. But we're here and we want to talk about anything that you guys have, right? So if you guys have new plays for us, we're going to definitely check them out. So I do appreciate everybody, all the OGs on the channel, and I do appreciate all the new people that came in today. Make sure if you guys haven't already, hit that like. If you're in the background, been watching, and you're like contemplating, like, should I subscribe? I don't know if I like this guy. Hit the damn subscribe button. Just do it. It's free. Hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you guys for being here. You guys have a safe night. Tomorrow is Friday. We finally made it to the end of the week, so we will be back here on Friday, most of the time. Some Fridays I don't stream just because I do have obligations around the time that we usually stream. So we'll see how it goes. But I do appreciate you guys more than you even know. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic night. And I will see each and every one of you guys tomorrow. If not, we'll be back here this weekend for Saturday and Sunday streams. All right? All right, guys.